everyone. Welcome to another episode of our panel discussions. Imagine we are sitting in 2036, 10 years from today. And when you think about this, you'll always think that things will be more complex. Things will be something which we cannot even understand. Our market would be very, very complex. And in a way, we being the human beings, that too in India, trying to understand how the market is going to behave. And that's what the discussion today we have. I have the elite panelist with me. Let me introduce everyone to all of you first. To my right, Dr. Hersh Sharma is with me. Then Dr. Ankur Soni. Then Professor Vikas Agrawal. Dr. Owais Qureshi. Dr. Arjun Murti. We have Dr. Harish Kulkarni. We have Professor Ghosh with us. We have Aparna Madam with us. And we have Professor Rahul Choubey. We all will be trying to dive deeper into the next gen marketing. This next gen marketing will be the marketing in 2036. To start with, let me give you a few very interesting data points so that we can start with that. If you imagine about the India's defense budget, it's 7.8 lakh crores. And our wedding market is 10 lakh crores. It is more than our defense budget. In 2030, there will be 170 lakh crores to be disposed of by the millennials. 117 lakh crores by 2030. A millennial takes 90 seconds to decide about a particular purchase decision post UPI. Before 2019, it was 4.5 minutes. What a change. And we being Indians, we take 76% of our decisions with family. So it's a very, very complex market. If anybody wish to understand what marketing is all about, I invite the whole world to Indian market. Come, understand how the market behaves. To our surprise, when we see that a particular sabji market, where a housewife is actually negotiating for 5 rupees, she buys 10,000 rupees lehenga in one shot for wedding, no bargaining. A lady who is buying L'Oreal's cosmetics, also buying Vim bar. A family which is buying 50,000 rupees mobile, it's a family decision, it's not the individual decision even. So this is what Indian market is all about. So with my panelist, we'll try to explore how Indian market would be in coming decades. To start with, let me ask Hersh sir. Hersh sir, how do you see that the generation is changing? How do you see the consumer behavior is changing over a period of time? And what is the impact of the generational behavior over this?
Sir, you have raised a very good point that things are moving very fast at a very fast pace. The generations are, though generation has been there from very long, generational concept was there from very long time. But now, though the time period is only 15 years per generation, but generation get transformed very fast because the technology has evolved, the platforms have evolved, things have become global and connected also. So there is a huge difference between a generation and the previous generation and the next generation. So if we think about the coming decade of marketing, The three generation that would be very important would be millennials, Gen Zs, and somewhat Gen Alpha. If we think about their size, they will be almost 110 crores of people by 2030 in these three cohorts.
Right.
Gen Zs are at their peak. Gen Millennium would be the richest, they must be having the controlling the wallet. And Gen Alpha, the aspirational thing, they may be putting all the pressures on Gen Zs also. Also, if we go into certain data about what can be the size of market by 230 to 36, so almost 3 trillion, more than 3 trillion dollar market would be influenced by these three generations. Though Gen X would be there, but that would be hidden generation. It would be the hidden opportunity though, but it will be hidden. So marketers for the coming this decade have to see these generation not as segments. They have to see them as culture. They are different culture altogether because they are different in their lifestyle, their psychographic is different, their exploration with the brands and products are different, their concept of money is different. So brands and marketing have to see that they can understand their these generation from cultural point of view and then align their all marketing efforts to these cultural differences of these new generation. If we like you have talked about millennials, but now the coming generation, coming period, Gen Zs would become the most
Right.
dominating
Yeah.
and most loud generations. And this generation we see they are kind of digital native generation. They have seen everything digital. From the birth they have hold the mobile phone. So every brand has to see how they fit into his mobile experience. And this generation has different value system also. Their expectations are different. Like you have talked about the housewife bargaining for all this thing. Now Gen Z, if you offer him a Raymond's coat, he will refuse it. But he will spend 2-3 thousand rupees in makeup. He is a very different person. He doesn't go for that kind of the traditional legacy consumption. Also, this is a trend going towards experience rather than ownership. So he doesn't want to own, like we have talked about in discussion, furniture. He is not going for a durable furniture. He is looking for furniture which gives him a kind of trendy thing and aligns with his aspirations and his self concept. So that is where companies have to come up to that level. Brands have started doing that. Even like Tanishq has launched a brand like Mia, specifically catering to these kinds of aspirations of these coming generations. Even if you talk about our retail formats, like Zudio has been a brand of Gen Zs only. But apart from that, the new like Mintra has launched Mintra Forward, or some other every brands have to take care of these aspirations, and this is the way they have to create a connect with this. The idea is you have to have be authentic. You have to have give them something to talk about. Your story should align with your storytelling. Storyline should align with their story. So this is the way I see these generation would be very important, and they would be influencing all marketing efforts. Brand have to recalibrate, reformat their all marketing efforts to cater to these brands, these generations.
Sir, you rightly said as far as Gen Z is concerned, this Gen Z will be the main consumer in 2036, if I'm not wrong. Now, understanding their behavior would be very vital for any of the marketers across the world. If you're talking about India, this is going to be very typical. Do you think that, sir, there'll be something which is going to influence the previous generation as well? Because if you are talking about Gen Z, they might influence the decisions of previous generation as well, like millennials and others.
They are actually at the period we are talking about 2026 to 2036. Gen Z would be at their peak. So, though the millennials must be having all the purse and wallet, heavy
Yeah.
wallet with them,
Yeah.
but the most influential generation would be Gen Z only.
Okay.
And see, actually, Gen Z has built upon millennials,
Right.
but there is a huge difference between Gen Z and Generation X.
Yeah.
So, Millennial and Gen Z would go along. Actually, they are manageable because
Yeah.
there is not huge difference, and Gen Z have in fact built upon what millennials
Right,
have
right,
changed
right,
themselves.
right, right.
So that is the way I think the consumer behavior would be very important.
Right. Professor Qureshi, listening to Hersh's comments, I'm thinking about, would the customer experience be a vital issue for Gen Z as well? I just want to know your views on this, because customer experience is something which actually builds the moment of truth for any of the brands. And since the Gen Z is having a very short memory, and they are known for not being brand loyal towards a particular brand, how do you think that that customer experience would be a key point to influence this Gen Z?
Certainly, I'll just explain like that. When we talk the customer experience, it is start from the identifying the needs, why and when we need any particular kind of a product. Then we can start from the purchasing point, and whatever things are there involved in that thing, we are following that thing. When you talk about the Gen Z is very smart generation. They are not at all taking much time when we are making the final decisions. They know it, which brand they know it. Because when time was there, when parents or the senior member family, they used to ask what do we need or when do we need. First, customer experience when you talk about it is starting from the purchasing or throughout the emotional purchasing journey. It's completing like that only. But today, we are completely misconceptualizing that the customer journey and the customer service is the same thing. No, it's not. Customer service is completely a different thing. It may be the tool of the customer journey, customer experience, but it's completely both are the different thing. I'll just quote one example of the Amazon. When they are marketing the things, they are marketing their products, they are emphasizing on the delivery time. Immediately they are talking about within 2 days, within 24 hours. They are not at all talking about the 3 days or days. They are simply talking about the hours. Because they have created the dark store in such a way that customer can get the supply very quickly. But in olden time, it was not happening. You have to go to the market physically. You are identifying the things. But nowadays, social media and all kind of advertising, which is supporting the customer experience, everything is available. Every information is on the fingertip, and customers are feel very well conversant. But all the time, Gen Z is not taking much time to make the final decision because they know it very well what is their need. And they are not going that whether they, once upon a time when we were young, we were just thinking, do we need the mobile or not? They are not thinking in that way. They need barely the mobile. Simply they are talking about the models, they are talking about the brand. So that's how it's working.
Great. Qureshi sir, do you really think that as far as this entire experience journey is concerned, this will be changing very fast, and understanding this journey would be very difficult for us? Now, how AI can actually help us into this? Because there's lots of talk about AI and AI's influence into marketing. Let me put this question to Professor Murti. Arjun sir, do you think that AI can help us to understand the emotions as well? Do you think that AI can help us to understand this Gen Z's flickering behavior? It's very flickering, right? At one moment of time, they are thinking something else. If they are seeing some influencer on their shots, they will be thinking something else. So, would AI be capable enough to make us understand how they are going to behave in 2036?
Indeed, sir. I would be happy to share my idea on how marketing is impacting artificial intelligence in the present generation. See, marketing is evolving faster than ever before. In case if we look in terms of the perspective, how AI is affecting us, see, we have hyper personalized experience which is being created these days. Apart from that, predictive analytics is there around. Customer journey is being mapped. What all websites, what all experiences the customer is having, he or she is sharing on the online marketplace. That way, the companies are tracking these behavior and accordingly they are catering their market offering to the customers. Apart from this, in case if we look in terms of some of the lead companies which are there booming all across the globe, making forays like we have Lenskart, how the product is better fit to the customer virtually rather than visiting the store at home itself. He or she could just try a particular frame based on his experience. He or she could order that particular product. Apart from that, the experiences which are being shared by the customers, those are also being looked in by the company, and accordingly, the product offering is being tailor made. Apart from that, companies are tracking the lead scores, say, rather than relying on the cold calls which have been done before. Companies are tracking the data analytics, going into the historical data. That way, they are getting to the customer's need, and this way, they are just transforming the way how marketing has been done before over the years.
Great, Arjun sir. So this means that AI can be of great help
Indeed,
to,
sir.
to predict the behavior which the Gen Z is going to have. We are talking a lot about Gen Z and we are actually ignoring the millennials and other generations as well. Look, at present, if you're looking at the millennial generation or Generation X, or we have the generations which are like silent generation or baby boomers, they got good amount of money in their hands. Our companies are really looking into these segments as well, and our companies influencing their behavior as well. Kulkarni sir, do you think that we are over influencing the behavior of consumer through various means, whether it is AI, whether it is mapping their brain, or whether it is any kind of advanced technology? Do you think that ethically this is right? And if at all this is happening, should this be helping organization in a way to understand the Gen Z, or in a way to understand the typical Indian market as well?
Well, sir, since we are discussing the future of marketing in 2036, whether it's a hyper personalization, sentiment driven consumption, or the shift from India to Bharat markets, one important question is that how do consumer actually make a decision? For the decades, marketers rely on surveys, focus group interviews, and customer interview. But the challenge is that the people often cannot accurately predict or explain why they buy something. Research conducted in Harvard in the year 2003 suggests that approximately 95% of the purchase decision happens in subconscious mind. This means that the traditional research captures only a very small portion, that is approximately 5 to 6% of the portion that is traditional research is going to cover, and which is going to which is going to motivate the consumer. It indicates that the future of marketing is not just asking to the customer that what they understand, what they want, what they are really having an expectation, but to understand what their brain react to the product, what their brain react to the messages, what their brain react to their past experience. So, last study conducted by Nelson in the year 2022, April, found that advertisement with a strong emotional response generates up to 23% of the higher sale as compared to the rational messaging. This is why neuromarketing is heavily dependent on emotions, memory, and attention triggers. So, neuromarketing uses the tool such as eye tracking, facial coding, EEG brain mapping, and biometric responses to understand what truly the customer or the consumer is have captures attention. They can build their emotions on what way they are going to build their emotions and what are the different triggers which a consumer is going to have a precision decision making ability. So as a result, certain few examples, that one example may be a product packaging and shelf decision. The company conducted a brain response study by Frito-Lay's. They conduct a brain response study on consumer while they are looking toward different chips packaging different chip packaging design. The research revealed that something surprising. Matte packaging plays a very important and emotional appeal as compared to the shiny packaging. So as a result, the company has redesigned the entire product system, and they are going for a natural versus they are as compared to the artificial one. So as a result, there is a significant improvement in the shelf attraction of a consumer and consumer preference. So this tells that the virtual clues that the brain possesses in subconscious mind can strongly influence a consumer buying decision. The another example is advertisement effectiveness. The Google and Unilever has using a facial coding and emotional response technology to measure how an viewer is having a advertisement in the real time scenario. Instead of relying on post ad survey, they measures an attention level of the customer, they measures an emotional engagement, they measures and memory recall potentiality, and this allows marketer to modify their advertisement before launching the product and going for a global market. So, future of the market playbook, the campaign will be optimized using brain data before they even reach to the consumer. The third example is retail experience. Kia has used a neuroscience marketing for informed research to design a store pathway, and that encourage a market exploration and emotional engagement. And that's the result. As a result, the consumer spends more time in the store experience, enjoys the market, enjoys the store, sense of discovery. They have created a sense of discovery and make a higher value purchase. Even neuromarketing nowadays is used in digital platforms also. Netflix constantly experimenting with their different thumbnail images for same movie and series. As a result, their behavioral and psychological insights to determine which image is triggered most and which image is more liked by the customer or consumer. As a result, the small visuals or small visual impact can change or can influence a millions of viewing decision. So finally, in the year 2036, the neuromarketing is become deeply integrated with AI and behavioral analytics. Marketer will be able to use, and definitely they are going to use brain response insights, real-time data, and AI-driven personalization. This will help the organization to design their product as far as the customer or consumer experience is concerned. Communication that are aligned with the human brain naturally and makes a decision. So finally, in the year 2036, the future of marketing is not a data driven, but it will be a brain driven message. And the brand that will succeed in 2036 will be those move beyond the market, move beyond the consumer, what they actually want, instead of that, what is going on in their mind.
That's great, sir. So you have actually researched a lot as far as the consumer mind is concerned. There is a term which is known as communication overload. And when we say communication overload, you will always see that our brain has got a capacity to digest the communication up to certain level. And beyond that, we start rejecting everything. Now, in coming time, even in today, if you see that we have thousands of brands, lakhs of communications, Everywhere, wherever you go, even if you're going to the washroom, you are gonna see a particular advertisement. God said, please leave us there. But this is going to happen even in higher level, in higher frequencies. So there is something which is basically known as minimalism, and there is a new term which is into the market nowadays, that people are going towards the minimalism. It's the reverse gear which is going in. Now people used to go for lots of fancy things. People used to go for feature-rich things. Now they are coming back to the feature-less things. And would this be one of the trends in 2036? Professor Ankur, Soni, would you like to add something to it? Because this is very interesting as far as the Gen Z is concerned. Are we heading towards something which is going to balance lots of features with very minimum features, which is known as minimalism? What's your opinion?
Thank you, sir. Before I start to talk about minimalism, I would like to share a little data about consumption, how consumption patterns are shifting in the coming decades. As of now, in India, the consumption, private consumption is 57 to 60% of Indian GDP. And there is a definite shift wherein we are moving towards luxurious living, sustainable purchase to luxurious purchases, wherein expenditure on food and shelter is going down in terms of percentage,
Yes.
not in terms of volume,
Right.
and expenses in terms of luxury households experiences
Right.
are growing. So the trends are shifting in a different manner. When we talk about minimalism, it is fundamentally voluntary reduction in consumption. Now, when we reduce the consumption, it does not balance to the total reduction of consumption, but rather consumers are shifting towards better quality of product, owing a little less number of products, and comparatively having more durable, repairable sort of products,
Okay.
so that they can use it over a longer period of time and drive higher utility from it.
Right.
So there is a definite shift. What will happen in next decade? The consumers will become more mindful of their purchases. So they may go for fewer number of products, but definitely what companies will need to do is they'll have to innovate their business models, because consumer expectation is changing. They'll go for higher quality of product. Then we have companies like Airbnb, Quicker, OLX, which are also promoting shared and reusable products.
Okay.
So that trend is also growing.
Okay.
And companies will have to now consider these trends, that
Right.
the secondary market is also growing. So it is not the reduction of the business, rather it is an additional opportunity to bank upon more in developing market and consumption patterns.
So we need to have a balance between the feature-rich things and less featured things. We need to have mindfulness towards the purchase. I'm remembering one thing, which is basically, I being a cricket lover, so I always look at the things from that perspective. The classic cricket is the 5 days test cricket.
Test matches.
Test matches. Classic cricket, when we talk about. And this classic cricket is actually something which is basically played in a duration of 5 days. And there is no limitation of overs and anything. And since the consumer behavior changed, we started packing this thing into smaller dhamaka packs, and these smaller dhamaka packs were 1 day matches where we have 50-50 overs bowled by each team. People started enjoying it because generation is getting changed. Now we have changed another thing because we want something in a smaller duration of time with the better entertainment. And To my surprise and to everyone's surprise, nobody was thought about that IPL is gonna be world's biggest sports brand as far as earnings are concerned. Now, since Ankur is talking about minimalism, is this something which is balancing minimalism with features and everything? We got 20 overs match, we have all sort of janka mankas in 20 overs match, and we have got colored dresses, we got girls who are dancing on fours and sixes, people are dancing like anything. So this has become one of the businesses, and this business has been basically nurtured pretty well in India. Professor Ghosh, you being a cricket lover like me, what is your opinion on this product category? Because this product category is moving very fast. If you're looking at the earnings of IPL, these earnings are actually astronomical. Probably in coming time, this will be increasing like anything. So, what is the marketing behind this? I just want to understand. Not exactly about that cricket. I'm talking about a product in itself.
Thank you, sir. And I'm very, you can say, elated because you talked about this IPL.
Yeah.
If you look into our studies in through those Harvard cases, there are 9 cases on this event.
That's
Right
great.
from pricing to auctioning and to that selling of the media rights.
Right.
And there are around 4 to 5 on IPLs, various IPLs. There are 9 such cases, and in most of the P schools, this IPL 2 to 3 cases are always being done to know all about all these different functions that MBA graduate needs to.
Right.
And these are basically, if you look into these cases, or if you look if you look into the IPL as a whole, it is basically finding out the intrinsic as well as the extrinsic need, and then to capture how to capture those things. So one is the need, and then how to capture it. You can see, as you rightly said, it was a 5-day match and all those things, test matches.
Yeah.
So if you
The classic cricket match.
if you see those test matches, cricket was till 2006-7. It was a dull game, and this IPL had basically turned it into a family entertainment.
Right.
So though AI may come, consumer, all those data will change and everything, but some things remains the same for ages through legacy. And this is one of the best case that we go through in innovation without disruption.
Right.
Because they are able to create a new market without disrupting any of the other leagues that was happening in India or
Right.
across the world.
Right.
And that new market is called as the cricktainment. Cricket plus entertainment. That is basically. If since we are all 40 plus, 50 plus, if we look back into cricket earlier, only few people used to watch.
Yeah.
And at the moment, the last IPL 2025, the female viewership was 47%. And I will give you some data, then only I will come into how they are able to capture it through some very basics that we use, that we should be using to all. This is our opinion, my opinion, to the management graduates also. Something remains unchanged all along. So they were able to bring in new standards in cricket and a very different type of training system, and every country benefited it, and that was the local talent that
Right.
they had. And India, since this came from India, India becomes the most powerful and the influential country across the world in cricket.
Right.
Nothing can move beyond India. So going, I will bring some data that it started in 2008 and 2025, that data only I will capture. So in terms of TV viewership and in terms of broadcasting ad sales revenue, in 2008, which was the first IPL, the viewership was 102 million, whereas it was 300 million in terms of broadcasting ad sales revenue. 2025, the viewership is 1.2 billions. And you will be very surprised to know that digital comes higher than the TV. Yeah, digital is something like 652 millions, whereas TV is 537 millions.
Right.
And what about the ad sales revenue that they brought? 4,900 crores. That was the ad sales revenue. And how many brands were associated this time? The last one, 425 brands. So something, but this is a very classic case of innovation without disruption.
Yeah.
They did not disrupt it, but they created a different market, a new market. GeoStar measured some of the sales. See, when we do all this spending on the ads, the basic objective is to lift the sales. In FMCG, it was 5.7%.
Right.
The last 2025 was, and those who had spent more than 10 crores, it was 8.7%. The rise in the sales.
Yes.
So how all these things happen? Just have some data I gave. So things remains the same across the ages.
Right.
And 2-3 things. Since it was innovation without disruption, one was the non-consumers. They looked in. You cannot have a viewership of 1.2 billion until and unless you take up those non-consumers, non-customers.
Right.
So three strategies that they used to make this IPL what it is now, this IPL. The first was by using a very thoroughly, very, you can say, researched way, in a researched way, the strategic canvas.
Right.
So in strategic canvas, they had interpolated. We are all aware of those graphs. But 3 things they added in the offerings, the 3 competing factors that they added. And one was the entertainment, Bollywood stars, and the club culture. This they have added from when we make this strategic canvas, these 3 factors were added into it, and that's why it has gone to such a. In offering level, there 3 factors were very high when we measured it. One was the player's technique and style. Aajkal, so if you see that Vaibhav, Surya Vanshi, from the first ball, chakka, 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 chakka. The style and the technique does not matter now. It is who can hit the longest, even not 6, the longest 6. Or if it goes to that crater, if it goes to the crater is yours.
Ghosh sir, I'm cutting you short in between. Do you think that we have actually commoditized cricket from pure sports to a commodity which is basically an entertainment commodity where we are compromising everything, including the technique? We want somebody to come on the pitch, start hitting sixes, and then go back. And where no country matters because people are playing from different countries, and these franchises are basically running everything. In a way, it's an entertainment program than anything else. So it's a product category in itself. Let me tell you, as far as cricket is concerned, it's the religion for India. It's a religion. So anyone starting from 12 to 10-year boy to 80 to 90-year aged people, they all are involved into. My father is 90 plus and he is hooked with the TV throughout. If we ask him to sit for something else, he will never do that. But as far as cricket is concerned, he will do that. So it is the total commoditization which we are doing. Probably, maybe in coming time, things would be in a very different shape as compared what is these are today. So when we talk about brands, when we talk about a commoditization, when we talk about channels, when we talk about how the things are reaching to the people, there is one thing which is very much into the market, and this one thing is direct to consumer. Now, if you're talking about even lens card, if you're talking about Mama's Earth, if you're talking about Sugar, if you're talking about all sort of brands which are directly reaching to the customer, they are removing the in between channels and then reaching to the customer. These brands are not that big. These brands are new generation brands where these brands might have launched 4 5 years back, and now these brands are creating laurels like anything. Aparna madam, you being the only female faculty with us, and you are very closely attached with cosmetics. And I've seen Mama's Earth success. I've seen Sugar's success. I've seen quite a good number of D2C brand success. So, what is your opinion? How these brands are actually building inroads in India's typical market? Is this something which is dominated by the female consumer, or these brands are equally endorsed by male or maybe the other generations as well? What's your opinion?
So certainly I will talk about the female customers.
Yeah.
But yes, to break this notion that the D2C brands are mostly considered for female customers. No, we have Ola,
Yeah.
we have Tata Motors, we have HUL, we have ITC, we have Barrico, we have n number of big FMCG giants. Those who are coming up with the brands for everyone, for masses, they are also, adapting to this D2C
Okay.
channel. So if we see the current landscape, consumer landscape, D2C is not a trend.
Okay.
It has become a structural shift now.
Mhm.
The structural shift in the sense that how the products are produced, how they are marketed, and how they are delivered to the customers. So the entire shift is not just in terms of the product, it is also in terms of how they are reaching to the customers.
Right.
And this has, if I'll share the data with all of the panel members, merely 2000 crore D2C brands were there in 2015.
Yeah.
Today we are standing at 87,000 crores, as the data says, 2025 data says.
It's massive.
Yes.
Massive.
And if the projections go correct, the future projections go correct, we will be 15 lakh crore D2C market in India.
Oh.
Yes, and it is actually increasing at the pace of almost 35% CAGR, so the report says. So the shift is real, and there are a number of examples why people are changing towards D2C market. D2C market is enabling customers having very personalized experiences. Last time, when did you actually get a call from any brand asking for, are you happy with your mattress? Wakefit mattress I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
Wakefit mattress entered into the business where it was all very jao or khareed ke le aao mattress.
Right.
But yes, they have a shift in the way they build mattress, they created mattresses and they marketed it.
Right.
They get into the field which was very common, which nobody could even think of. Then they made the product, bespoke product, customized mattresses, and over and above the differentiation, the real magic, turned into when they offered 100-day trial, free trial. After using 100 days, if you think the mattress is not fit, you can return it.
Right.
So here I'm not saying that the product is phenomenal, the product is extraordinary. No, the business model is extraordinary.
Yeah.
So that is what D2C is adding to the current business landscape. We have a number of examples related to D2C, and yes, I'm coming to female. We can see that there is many brands that are actually contributing to the female consumers, because there is a shift. There is a shift in the working culture, the working generation. Females are getting out of the houses, they are working, and the time limit that they have, they are managing both. They're trying to harmonize their work life.
Right.
There is no balance, they need to harmonize it. So while harmonizing it, they are actually getting the products that are, that can directly reach to them. So yes, so that is why there is a steep rise in the beauty care. There is steep rise in the grocery gourmet, and many other things.
So I'm not
Country
wrong
delight.
as far as putting the category cosmetics in consideration, that this
Yes.
is what the category which is basically majorly contributing to the
Yes.
D2C brands.
So 20% of the entire D2C business
Right,
is headed by
right,
this
right,
category,
right.
and it is growing at a very speedy rate. And
That's great.
future lies with D2C, I
Right.
think.
So we started with the generation shift and reaching to D2C. Lots of things which are coming up as far as the 2036 market is concerned. If we are talking about technology, the use of technology for making this happen, somewhere I was reading about blockchain. I was reading about the new technological jargons in terms of how the softwares, how the entire world chain is basically connecting with technology. Vikas sir, do you think that as far as these new technologies are concerned, you being a person from the technology background, so can you throw some light on that? That these blockchain kind of technologies or blockchain kind of phenomena can help marketing pretty well in 2036.
Sure. Before I go down to the blockchain directly,
Yeah.
I'll like to take it forward from where ma'am has left.
Okay.
Build little background.
Yeah.
How these things are riding. D2C growth is really crazy. And there's a paradigm shift with the help of AI today. A lot of things are happening. The virtual showrooms, digital avatars are happening. And digital advertising is taking over. Customer loyalty programs are taking over. Influencer marketing is becoming a new fad today,
Right.
which is going to grow like crazy in future.
Yes.
These are then, as sir was saying, that physical things cannot be avoided. So supply chain has to be physical.
Right.
All these have a very, very strong integral role to play.
Right.
Now, blockchain as a technology came some time back. Little complex in nature. It has its own positives and negatives. But I'll share the data with you, which is very crazy again, that how this is going to help. Because the inherent strength of this data is this technology
Right.
called blockchain.
Okay.
It talks about data integrity. It talks about reducing the fraud. It talks about controlling the data from influencer marketing. Because influencer marketing has, we all know how the data are fetched for influencers, hits and eyeballs and all those things. Consumer trust finally can be bought with the honesty part only, and where the blockchain comes in. So I'll little bit talk about what is blockchain. It's a decentralized ledger technology that records transactions securely and they cannot be tampered with.
Because my point of view was how blockchain could be really helpful in terms of making marketing more effective in 2036. That's what I was trying to actually figure out from your end.
I'll give you 4 points. Digital advertising, how it will work.
Right.
It prevents ad fraud,
Right.
ensures transparent impressions and clicks.
Right.
On influencer marketing, verifies follower authenticity and engagement metrics. In terms of supply chain transparency, it tracks product origin and authenticity because fake products are very common on the online sales platform. And data privacy, which is a very, very touchy point for all the customers today,
Yes, yes.
is also taken care by the inherent quality of data on blockchain, which is not offered by anybody today.
Right.
I'll give you 3 figures. Investment in blockchain is only $11 billion as of today, which will grow to 150 billion by 27 in just next 2 years.
Right.
I'm talking about investment. And what's the marketing potential going to be? The market reach is going to be $943 billion. That is $1,000 billion by 32.
Right.
Not even 36, that our discussion point is. 4 years before, the marketing is going to reach there.
Right.
And obviously it has its own plus and minus.
Right. That's great, sir. So, in a nutshell, what I could understand that it will be a tool in the hands of the consumer to identify the genuinity of a particular product, maybe the genuinity of a particular influencer. Maybe they would be in a position to take informed decision based on this.
Absolutely.
Right. So, keeping everything in consideration, when we are seeing that the things are changing very fast, people are thinking from a very different perspective. Brands are changing their positioning, and everything is basically changing a lot. Rahul sir, what do you think that as far as this entire situation is concerned, what could be the tool, the best tool marketer should have in their hand so that they can always be in a balancing situation, not too much, not too less, but they will be in a balancing situation to give the right experience to the customer.
So, thank you so much, sir. Now, what we have discussed so far, I was just thinking about that, and it made certain points were connected, certain dots were connected. Now, when we are seeing customer from 2010, 20, and 30, we are not seeing that there is a evolution of these customers, but an entire transformation has actually happened. Exactly what you said, sir. T20, ODI, and test match. This is what has happened. Now, in the very first go, Hersh said very important thing, in which Aparna ma'am also have said. The customer today and the customer definitely in future, they are not price sensitive, they are experience sensitive.
Yes.
I am absolutely ready to shell out 70 rupees for your sandwich and not 70 rupees for other sandwich, but I'm looking for experience over here.
Yeah.
And this 70 rupees, you can transcend into 70,000 also, that I'm willing to pay 70,000 rupees for a flight ticket, wherein you give me a better experience.
Yeah.
This is what exactly is happening. Now the marketers, they need to understand one extremely important thing, sir, I believe, and that is the next India is going to come from tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Yes.
Majority of people are there. They are changing the entire landscape. How? I'll give you a very short example. I am not a very big cricket fan, but with due permission of you, sir, and Ghosh sir and Qureshi sir, recently we have won World Cup. And then there was a very interesting thing that actually happened. Apart from the commentary that was happening in English, second one by default is Hindi. But the third and fourth one was Tamil and Punjabi.
Yeah.
So vernacular language is going to dominate the future. There is no doubt about that.
Right.
And when it comes to Tamil, this was one of the studies that was done. The people in Tamil Nadu, 92% of them, they preferred that we would listen in Tamil rather than in English.
Right.
So this is what the affinity is going to be there, and this is something that they want, and it has been shown. Forget about the small memes that we see in Bhojpuri language. Even meme is a language, even meme is an advertisement, and that is also very great.
Yes.
That is going to happen.
Yes, it is. No doubt about this.
Now, from this meme only, the next thing that the marketers need to understand is that influencers. So again, we have seen the shift from celebrities to local influencers, and now we are talking about micro and nano influencers.
Yes.
Now, to very quickly tell you, nano influencers are those individuals who are having less than 10,000 of following. But the companies are looking for these individuals because they have a very deeper impact to the audience. They have a better connect rather than all those big fancy celebrities and other people.
Right.
So this is what the situation is, and something that we have seen all thanks to Blinkit and Zepto and everything.
Yeah.
We are talking about instant gratification. I am ready to pay a little bit extra, but I want my things to be delivered right now. I want that service right now. And with what ma'am said about D2C and AI, what sir said, yes, we are going to predict each and everything. the product is going to be available. We don't have to search for that. The product is going to be available to the customers. But that will bring the biggest challenge, sir, that finding customers in 2036 is going to be far easier than ever. But retaining that customer is going to be the most hardest challenge ever.
Right,
Challenge.
right, 100%. Hersh, what do you think? Because since we are talking about the next generation, and the generational shift is actually happening, and with this generational shift, the entire thing is going to shift. Their thinking pattern, their buying pattern, their spending pattern, and their decision making pattern, everything is going to change. What is your opinion about this? How we are going to deal with this 2036 customer?
So,
Is this not so difficult?
so the task is cut out for the marketers of future, because you have to not only think about the customers, the generational cultural difference, you have to see that different generations are seeking different solution from the same product.
Right.
See how it has evolved over a period of time. After I have heard the discussions from everyone, that the generation X was going for basic goods or product. The generation millennials were seeking services. Now generation Gen Zs are not seeking services, they are seeking experiences.
Yeah.
And Gen Alpha must be going for some extreme experience kind of thing, some
Yeah.
spontaneous extreme experience.
Right.
So what could be the product form? Now there is a concept of gender neutrality. So your product is offered to everyone.
Yeah.
And the marketers have to think how a product can be offered to all the genders with all our future differences and all. Then, like Ghosh sir has talked about the IPL and all. IPL is not cricket. It is the experience built around cricket.
Yeah.
So future, all the events and all they will happen. See, the interesting thing is experience is so dominating that even unboxing is an experience which is to be shared.
Yeah.
The people share it and people enjoy it. Unboxing also. So even a mundane product like a cosmetics or any product which are packed, they have to think about how they can create experience around the product. One more thing, which is AI and all, your data has been tracked, your behavior has been noted. So a customer, when two customer reaches a website, the website will give different pages and different colors and different features of a different product to these two different people. So things are going to become very complex. Hyper personalization is something which marketers will be worried about how to cater to all these things.
That's great, sir. That's great. Sir, we all being the faculty members, we are belonging to the fraternity which basically builds the next generation of marketers. And we have our set syllabus. We have been teaching marketing environment, we've been teaching segmentation, targeting, and positioning. We've been talking about the product, price, place, promotion, everything. Do you think in 2036, or maybe in coming decade, or maybe in coming 5 years, since things are changing so fast, especially in India, do we need to reshape our entire teaching so that we can build the students who can actually handle these customers? Any one of you, Ghosh sir, Aparna madam, any one of you, if you think what we need to actually add on to our syllabus, how to teach these students and what to actually build upon so that this generation is going to be prepared for the coming generation. So, Aparna madam, Ghosh sir, any one of you can always contribute. Since we all belonging to one fraternity, that is the faculties.
Teaching in terms of marketing or
Marketing. We are exclusively talking about marketing today, sir.
okay, fine. So first thing that if completely it's my personal opinion,
Yeah,
it's
please.
not a generic type of thing. The focus should be on case-based teachings.
Right.
And there are so many cases, and the cases which you can say, which integrates the case, the product or the event with the student. And basically we should go for Indian cases if we have.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if we bring those European cases, the disconnect is there.
Yeah.
It will not
Sir, just stopping you in between. When we talk about cases talks about past. And we're talking about future. And this future is changing so fast that probably the established practices are being proved wrong. I don't know how much the PLC will be relevant, product life cycle. How much the brand life cycle will be relevant, we don't know. What is the shelf life of a particular product, we don't know, because this is Gen Z. And probably the coming Gen might not be that brand loyal. So that typical bell-shaped curve would be irrelevant. We don't know what kind of curve will coming in. So yes, as far as those cases are concerned, they can establish the classic theory. But as far as the future is concerned, we need to look into something which is very dynamic in terms of changing with the time, right? Harish sir, since you are taking care of lots of academics, so what do you think? What could be the way out? What could be the area which we should include into the next generation syllabus?
Well, sir, I think that looking towards the present scenario, day by day, each and everything is get changed as far as the marketer's point of view is concerned. So, to study a competitive market, such type of competitive market, there is a huge need that we should incorporate certain new type of pedagogy as far as certain new science, we can say that new technological aspects, real market scenario, real market survey,
Right.
in which students can visit in the market, they can have a feel of that particular customers or consumerism, and they can decide with their own what is required in the future. Until and unless they are not going in the market, they are just studying in the classroom. There is a gap.
Okay.
There is a gap.
So experiential learning would be something which is going to make lots of change. So okay, so we are running short of time. So let me conclude everything what we have discussed today and what I could get out of the entire discussion. So as far as this coming generation is concerned, this coming generation will not be probably looking for a product or services. They must be looking for some sort of purpose, a purpose-driven marketing, the purpose-driven product through which they are going to derive their satisfaction, through which they are going to derive their delight, and this could be anything. So as far as the coming 10 years are concerned, these coming 10 years will be very challenging, and not only for the marketers but for fraternity like us as well. We should also learn lot many things so that we can deliver the same things inside the classroom as far as understanding of this generation is concerned. So thank you very much, and I'm leaving everyone with a question, and this question is whether it's a shift in entire generation or it's a shift in the entire subject known as marketing in 2036. So the playbook will be rewritten and we will have to write everything in a very fresh manner, and probably what all we have written in the fresh manner probably is going to be old in few days. So I'm gonna close off with one very famous saying on software world. In software world, it is said that the moment a program is running successfully, it becomes obsolete. So probably marketing is heading towards that particular level where the moment a product is successfully launched in the market, it's obsolete, and we are supposed to rethink about that product in some new form, in some new way, whether it would be D2C or whether it would be in AI backed form or anything. So thanks a lot, panel members. So it was a wonderful discussion, and probably next time we'll come out with something more insightful for every one of you. Thank you very much and
Thank
all
you,
the
sir.
best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.